ni bàbá.
Good day, amazing viewers all around the globe. You are watching OITV, channel 23, Omo Ileri TV, the broadcasting arm of the Omo Ileri International Resources Company Limited. Welcome to another illuminating episode of Voice Your Opinion. I am Janet Opako. Please, let's go on a short break and we'll begin its Voice Your Opinion.
Today on the program Voice of Opinion, we shall be hearing your voice of opinion on early marriage. And of course, we have our special guest with us, an important personality, pillar of faith, full of grace, worthy of emulation, and founder of Shepherd's Court Christian Center, aka Divine Salvation Bible Church. We have our mother, Reverend Dr. Mrs. ATINUKE AKINLUDE. Mommy, you are most welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. It's a pleasure for having you on Voice of Opinion. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. On this episode today, we would like to hear your voice of opinion on early marriage. So, mommy, if I may ask, what, in the voice of opinion, what can you say about early marriage?
Early marriage, we would say maybe from the age, anything below the age of 18, will be early marriage. Because legally 18 is adult, and I guess by law, the federal government can join them at that age. So we're looking at younger age, maybe 14, 15, 16, 17. For me, I think even till 18, 19 and 20, I still feel that is early. Because at that age, they are not ideally exposed to the consequences and apparent meaning of marriage. Do we want to talk about forced early marriage? If it was forced early marriage, what is the pain of it? Why is there a force to marry? It is not very common down south, but I know, being a part of the North for a while, I know they do that. One, maybe out of poverty, so that the child does not waste, the child does not take onto the streets. They'd rather marry her away and believe whoever marries her will take responsibility for her care. So if we are now looking at why, we look at poverty. As one of the reasons why people force children into marriage, early marriages. Would we talk about voluntary marriage at early age? If we look at that, what are the guardians doing about it? It's the guardian's responsibility if we're looking at a voluntary early marriage. Maybe a child who feels that I'm old enough, I'm 17, I can get married, I'm 18, I can marry. Usually, early marriage, volunteer early marriage is an escapist kind of avenue.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Janet, you have something to say?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. When you are about answering my next question, I wanted to find out, what is the cause or what are the reasons for early marriage?
Like I mentioned earlier at the introduction, poverty, that is forced. When you force marriage, it's usually poverty. Usually, there might be other reasons, but that comes to mind readily. And if it's a volunteer early marriage, that is a young woman wants to just get married, wants to get married, it could be one, the guardian's fault. They're not paying attention to that child, so the child has been taken care care of herself. She's been meeting men who's been promising her they will take care of her and confused her life. Because I still think 14, 15, 16, 17, even 18 are still supposed to be under the care of people who's had experiences, who should monitor and let them understand why. I don't get to see an 18-year-old, 17-year-old girl wanting to get married, even 18. At what level of education? You probably are just entering first year in the university. So what is the hurry to get married about? It's and at times we might have children who are lucky, actually went through school earlier, and they feel like maybe they encounter older men who are able to confuse them, not convince them, into believing that, look, I can take care of you. But this usually don't last. For me, it's like child abuse, taking advantage of a child who is not yet formed. And why do these men do that? I don't know, the fancy of a young girl carrying a young girl about. The relationships don't last. Even the young girls themselves end up leaving the marriage, running away, because the pressure of marriage is too cumbersome. Or they feel there's a loss, there's a gap. They have not had the fun of growing up, mixing with people and meeting people. I know also of younger ones who are abscond, Yes. These are usually things that happen from storybooks, watching too many unreal movies and things, and they get the euphoria of falling in love and running away with a man. But I want to say, what exactly is the reason for early marriage in this time, at this time, when the world is more exposed, a lot more educated and things like that? I do not see any good reason for early marriage, and I'm not very sure it's common anymore.
Thank you, man. From the voice of my own opinion, it's common. It's so common, and there's a reason for that, and that's why we are so lucky to have you on the voice of opinion program. And like you earlier said about from 18, 19, 20. So let's assume that we have young, male and female of 18, 19, maybe that they are free to,
Already.
Yes. So but okay, let's assume that we have 18, 19, up to 20. Do you think, in the first of opinion, is there any advantage, or are there advantages or disadvantages in early marriage or child marriage?
I would like to use practical example. My mother got married at the age of 20.
Okay.
And she was in that marriage for 54 years. And she had 7 children. And my husband, my father, who was her husband, had no other spouse. It was just her. How did he do it? I don't know. But I cannot refer to my own kids about the same age. I felt I was in love. I felt I had found love. I had no understanding. I knew then that my parents were very fussy about it. That, no, not at this age, what do you want to be? But I was actually out of school. I'd already finished I finished school very early. I was already working, done my degree, and very comfortable. So at that point in time, something came in my mind. Like I said earlier, escapist. I found the offer of marriage as an escape route and an opportunity to be independent. Because I was still with my parents, they still looked at time for me, they still were very angry with me, they still instructed me, and I felt like I'm working. I'm old enough, about 19. And well, they couldn't convince me not to do it. I got into the marriage and I realized that I was too young for it. We had not even discovered ourselves. It was what I thought was love. It was first experience, and somebody tell me, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I felt it was real. Of course, age at that point in time affected me. I was wondering why must I be in the house? When my friends are having fun, why must I be babysitting when everybody is on? So the marriage just didn't work. So my opinion, I think it depends on individuals. My mother did for 57 years plus. I did for for less than 3 years. So what really could have gone wrong? It was about the same age. So I think it's an individual thing. It's I personally, this is voice of opinion.
Yes, voice of
My opinion is early marriage is a disaster. My opinion. It does not augur well for the mental health of the couple. It does not, because they will discover they have liabilities, responsibilities. That's the children coming in. They also are still children. You know, and then the curiosity, the trying times of growing up, they're not familiar with it. Independence, they're still not secure, because I'm talking of a husband who is also 20, he probably doesn't have a good job. They're only living on I love you, I will die with you, I will die with you. But when reality faces them, they will realize that they cannot die for one another. Without money, without love, they will realize that love alone cannot sustain marriage.
Thanks so much. Yeah, let's go on a short break. We shall be right back.
What's your opinion? Very impactful, brilliant, and exhilarating experience. You must not miss it. You need it, and you need to be impacted. Don't miss it at any time. I am Reverend ATINUKE. AKINLUDE. I've had fun on Voice Your Opinion.
Thank you for having you once again on the Voice Your Opinion. Okay, if I may ask, though you said it earlier, but I want people to hear your voice, your candid opinion about what are the problems of some parents that encourage early marriage, encourage their children. Okay, marry on time, do whatever you need to do, have children on time, get everything done quickly. What are the problems from the Voice of Opinion?
Right, thank you for that. My opinion, I earlier mentioned it, that when we see forced marriages, for me, it's a forced marriage. Asking a child to get married at the age of 17 when our peers are still in SS3 and you're forcing them to marry. I told you, my opinion is it's more of poverty. Poverty, just go. We can't afford to maintain you. Or maybe the child herself is wayward and they don't want to be disgraced, so just go. So many things will be the consequences. But for the parents, or maybe the parents don't even have time. Just go. For me, at that age, our parents are saying go get married. That means they just want the child to just go.
Just go.
That's it. They just go. Maybe he's a single parent, a single mother, and she still has about 4 others to take care of. She said, just go. Thank God she's even encouraging her to go get married. Suppose she says, go find a job, go prostitute. What do we want to say? So, like I also said, it's an escapist route. Maybe they just want to escape from the pressure of feeding bread. Maybe they're living inside one small feeding space, school fees, so many things. That's my thoughts.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So you earlier mentioned that you got married at a very early age. So, and obviously you have faced some problems. So, ma, what are the problems of early marriage?
I did not face financial problem because he also was quite comfortable. The problem we encountered most was, I would call it no adequate time together. He has to go to work, and I have to sit down at home and be waiting. In the process, we began to drift. The attention we used to have when we were cutting was no longer there. Then, the curiosity, peer pressure. My contemporaries were still outside, his contemporaries were still outside. How could you tell me I'm going to the club and I will be in the house? The word club makes me feel like, what's happening? I might not fancy again to go to club with. I mean, that age, that was what we were, I'm talking of early 80s, 80s, or 80s, so those days, that was what the fun we had. Don't go. How can you tell me not to go out? I mean, I'm not used to that. You're my husband. How can you tell me you don't? We're age-based. You know, all of these things were things that we did not learn to understand that you submit to your husband. We didn't have time to learn it. You cook for your husband. We didn't have time to learn it because I will tell you that you go and cook for us too. I mean, his own attitude was, if you don't cook, then so we were too much around, too much misunderstanding, something began to drift, and everybody just wanted to go away. Then I realized, as I was growing up, that okay, my friends are still having fun, everybody's still going out, they're still, you know, why was I? And things began to fall apart. You know, then we talk of motherhood. I should sit down and we think, why can't you sit down and take care? And then, do we have to go to the market, or we don't have enough money today? Excuse me, I didn't come from that kind of background with no money to eat. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that the fault was mainly mine. I would say it was both ways, because both of us were so immature. I don't know, we ventured into what we were not ready for, what we are not prepared for, what his parents are not trained in, what my parents are not trained in, what we have not experienced. Because that the ages I'm talking about, when we could have learned at home. You know, basically, when you leave the university, you go back home. After 21, you go back home. And that's when you begin to face the reality of home building, working, all of them put together. Earlier, you don't learn all of those things. You just go to school, go to lesson, go and do exam, go to school, go to lesson, do exam. That's all you do from age 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, university, or you go to lecture, you go to lecture, go there, back to your room, go to... No, there's no room for training for a future. When you get back home after university, you now start training for future. That's when you now are observant of how your mother serves your father, how your father cares for your mother. That's when you start understanding you need to cook. That's when you start understanding that children also come. You are matured into it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Finally, what is the voice of your opinion to profile solutions to problems of any marriage?
Guardians should pay attention and don't just ask them to just go. We need to enforce parenthood at that age. I am senior parent, and that's what we're going to ask for. And you will come back to thank me later. You know, we should always try to enforce that. You will come back to thank me later. I can share with you that my mother I actually would have gotten married immediately after school because I felt I was so in love. And I just wanted to get married. I mean, I'm talking about suicide. But my parents stood the ground and no, we are not, you want to get married, fine, go and finish your first, you will do all the marriage. You want to get married, because I was still young. You can guess I was maybe 16. And all I wanted was thinking about youthful exuberance. I was like, is the love with me? Is the love? And I mean, the drive. But my parents kept on pulling back, like, no, go and finish. If you finish, you want to get married, you are in love with this man, no problem. If you finish, we will. And that was how I became educated. With the force, they made it a subtle force, because of course they used the headlock force, we are likely going to collide. But my parents were very careful. Parenthood, you know, there are times, parenthood itself is a school. You don't meet some things with force when it comes to children. So they were able to take me. Oh yes, oh, you want to get married? No problem. We will. And I finished. And my mother would laugh at me later on that, okay, I said you will thank me later. And for every day of my life, I kept on thanking her that, thank you, Mom, that you made me go to school. Because if I didn't go to school, the marriage didn't last anymore. Where would I have been today? I would have gone to the market to be selling pepper. I would have been a nuisance on the road. I would have been a shame to my family. You know, so the effort of the parents will help. They should maintain their efforts. They should look for guidance counselors. They should look for, they should get their pastors. The pastors have good words. They have ways of ministering to youths. Because I go through that now. Even at our church, I still see youths who come and are desperate and want to get done. Pastors have a nice way of ministering to these children, even with the word of God. And it changes them. So my opinion is this: parents should not just allow, where they are still your responsibility. I don't even know when the child is not the responsibility of the parents. Even at the age of 50, who should still have a mother, you are still our responsibility. I see them in church, age 80, 90, still praying for their 16-year-old children. So our parents should not shift from their roles. They should not encourage early marriages. They should be true to themselves. They should know the consequences. And they should be honest with their children. And use wisdom of God and even native wisdom to help these children.
Thank you so much. For the interest of our viewers, we have an important personality that has been on the program on OITV channel 23 for a special program, Voice of Your Opinion. And our mother, our special guest, has been on the program voicing out our opinion on the special topic, early marriage.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now that's all we can take on today's episode of Voice Your Opinion. But keep the conversation going on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok platforms at OITV, channel 23, Omo Ileri TV. Thank you so much for watching and keep watching. I remain Opako Janet. Until next time, bye for now.
Good day, viewers. My name is Adekunle Adeoluja. I'm happy to recommend Omo Ileri Television, OITV channel 23, to our general viewers. It's a budding television station that has very rich content in terms of news, day-to-day living, security, religion is developing, and I want each and every one of us to be part of their success story. Omo Ileri Television, kudos to you. The sky is your limit.